I'm here with Marty. We just watched Arsenal win away at Leicester. Very important win. Keeps us in the hunt for the title. Did you? You don't think so, no?
No, definitely it keeps us in the hunt for the title. I was just amazed at what a game of football. I mean, look, for me, it had everything. I mean, I've seen it all this week, from Everton giving us a result against Liverpool and them dropping points, which I called, and at the time everyone thought I was absolutely insane for thinking that Liverpool were going to drop points, and then seeing Mikel Merino come on as a number 9 and score a brace. And, you know, wow, that, you know, the first half of football was absolutely diabolical. Personally, it was completely disjointed. It was completely unsettled. There was no rhythm. There was no movement. There was no passages of play. We looked like we were in a similar position to Leicester.
How do you account for that? Because we were all pretty surprised at the lack of fluency, like you said. I think you used the perfect term. We looked disjointed. What do you put that down to? Was it nerves? Was it just, I don't know. What was it? Because I can't put my finger on that at all.
Do you know what? I think, obviously, we know we're going into a game without a proper striker. And should there be nerves? Look, they're human beings at the end of the day, so I get that. But they are top-level professionals, and surely by now, I mean, realistically, the only player that was kind of out is Havertz. You know, we're still playing with our first-choice back four, our first-choice goalkeeper, our first-choice midfield, and, you know, players Nwaneri, okay, apart from obviously Saka, you know, but Nwaneri, you've got to say, is probably the most exciting talent to be in the Premiership for years. He is an unbelievable talent. The boy's 17 years old, and his drive, his desire, his ambition is, you know, second to none. It's unearthing a player, or, you know, getting a player like that from our academy is, for me, what football's about. And, you know, he drove the game on at times in the first half where no one else did. He was the only player that looked like doing something. And then in the second half as well, you know, taking chances. I love that he's always looking to get a shot off. He's always looking to beat a player. There was times in the first half, I remember there were 2 players on him, and I thought, how's he going to get out of this one? How's he going to wriggle his way out of it? And he just skipped past a pair of them. You know, and players are doubling up on him, and that's what they do to Saka. So, you know, that people are already taking notice. You know, he's 17 years old. Wow, what a talent.
Yeah, I thought he was outstanding today. And of course, the game changed in the 81st minute. Mikel Merino, a good header, you know, fantastic finish, and all the hallmarks of a striker there.
Our number 9, you know, everyone was talking about in the summer we didn't buy a number 9. Well, it looks like, you know, we've stumbled by default upon a player that can play in that position. He was clinical. What I loved seeing is both of those finishes, the header, you know, he gets it on target, away from the goalkeeper, by the post, and then the second one, it's a quick ball that he gets on a half volley that skids on a very wet floor, and he put it away with ease. And he unlike in the first half where Sterling, and this isn't a dig out to Sterling and Trossard, they're on the line and they're last man, and you need to be able to read that line. There's a level of naivety at this level of competition. If numerous times you're getting caught offside, you're in space, so it's not like you're tight man on man. You're in space and you can't look down. These are basic 101 rules of football. As a winger, you'll look down the line to see whether you're on or off before the ball's played, and they got caught out like that. But whereas Mikel Merino, you see for the second goal how he hangs back and he hangs off the, you know, he's waiting, he's lurking.
Yeah, his spatial awareness was good.
It's fantastic. He's lurking like a number 9 would do. You know, when he got brought on by Mikel Arteta, he played that role absolutely perfectly, lurking it, and then it goes in at the back post, makes his run at exactly the right time, ball's in the back of the net. And, you know, when you take, this is what I love, and you've got to give props to Mikel Arteta, because, you know, the chips were down. It was a very, very disappointing first half. I have not seen such a poor half of football in a long time. We didn't look like scoring in a month for Sundays. Then he made the relevant changes, bringing Calafiori, Jorginho on, and Mikel Merino at a set time. Now, this Mikel Merino, putting him in as a 9, if that goes wrong, Leicester go down the other end and score and we end up losing that game, then he is in for a hell of a lot of criticism. Why did you make those substitutions? Why did you take Miles Lewis-Skelly off? Why did you take Thomas Partey off? And why did you put Mikel Merino as a number 9? This is amateur, this is foolish. But listen, he got it right today, and that's a sign of a manager that knows his team, he knows his players. Very quickly, they've worked out a way in this, you know, in the summer, in this January transfer window, the owners and Mikel Arteta have obviously played this lottery, this roulette of red or black, and they've put it all on the house and, you know, gone for broke, thought, no, do you know what? We're going to save the money or whatever. We're not going to sign a player, you know, and then the risk management hasn't been there, element, but then it actually has. In this instance, it's paid off today. I'm not saying that Mikel Merino moving forward is our answer to our short-term problems. It's a long-term solution to our short-term problems. I don't know. I mean, listen, if we...
Would you start him next week against West Ham? I mean, he's come off today, scored 2 goals in the space of, 6-7 minutes?
See, this is a really interesting question, Laurie, because I think in the first half how we played, we allowed Leicester to pick themselves up in confidence throughout the game, and that might have drawn a level of maybe naivety from then that actually we are Arsenal Football Club and we can put teams away and we do have that quality. So then Mikel Arteta changed the pace of the game, and he completely changed by bringing on certain personnel to change, and we looked a completely different side. Now, do you set up as that side that won the game, or do you revert back to, you know, because the side that he started with, it has worked against teams, but just today there got to a period in the game of about 65 minutes where he was like, enough is enough, I'm going to start making these changes. And he started making these changes. Now, there is case to say, you know, to start Merino as a number 9, because now he's done it and it's worked. There won't be everyone on his back. I'd imagine Arsenal fans would be like, okay, look, we've got to go with that. So, but whereas if he started like that, then everyone could be really on his back, and especially if it goes wrong. Now, I think the question is let's say he starts Merino as a 9 and he goes and bangs a goal in against West Ham and then against Forest. I'm not looking too far ahead. And then he does it again against Forest, or he has a great game, or maybe scores 2 goals. Then are you thinking, you know, like the Havertz situation? We bought Havertz as a midfielder and then he ended up getting played up top. And one thing I've seen with Merino, his clinicality in front of goal is... You know, they're 2 very well taken goals.
Yeah. I mean, that second one on the half volley, that was worthy of any striker to score that goal.
You know, and for me, it's the ball that comes in at the pace. Okay, yeah, you do have to get contact with it, but it's a very quick ball. It's on a half volley, and then he puts it in the back of the net. And I've seen strikers miss those. I've seen, you know, I'll be honest, no disrespect, I have seen Havertz miss very similar chances, or players, hack at them. And today we got a result which is... it is a huge result, because what would have been so disappointing is if we draw that game or we lose that game after Liverpool dropping points against, you know, Everton, you know, to pick up those points. Now it's on to them. They're playing Wolves tomorrow, and listen, if they slip up against Wolves, whether they will or not, Wolves are fighting for their lives. You know, these Premier League fixtures, this is when the game gets very interesting, and you know, can we go on and, you know, with this sort of makeshift side, or, you know, sort of cobbling bits together, you know, go and really push Liverpool all the way? And, you know, it makes for a very interesting season.
It certainly does. And, you know, like you said, we didn't play the best today, but we got the win. Some people might say that the 2 goals were papering over the cracks. But then, like you said, Marty, we could have unearthed something here. And sometimes in the face of adversity, this is what happens. Out of the blue, by default, like you said, someone comes along and then all of a sudden, it's a different take on things. Yeah,
I do generally believe if we turn up to maybe an Old Trafford or Nottingham Forest like we did in the first half, I do believe that, you know, those teams would probably punish us for it. I really do. For me, it was the disappointment of the first half, the football that I was watching. Yeah, it was lacklustre. It was not good, and a better opponent punishes us, certainly in those situations. But we were lucky to get into the second half at 0-0. And later on, I mean, Leicester didn't show much, and then obviously to go on and win the game in emphatic style. And look, it really poses an interesting a really interesting question now of moving forward in this season. Does he get started? But it makes it a lot easier for Mikel Arteta to make that decision, I believe, and be, I say, allowed to make that decision without facing criticism. It's a match-winning performance, and to go there and do it like that. And Mikel Merino's season didn't start that well. Yeah. You know, he started with an injury. He's been a bit off and on, but also, statistically wise, I saw something that he scored more than Rasmus Højlund and more than Xerxes, you know, and in 10 minutes of playing up front, you know, and to go and nick them, I think nick that win like that at the end, Leicester will be sort of disappointed. And there were points in the game, like Miles Lewis-Skelly, there was a point in the second half where he makes an absolutely fantastic tackle at the back post. Indeed, the ball's coming in, and he tracks his runner and just gets enough on it. He knows exactly where he is. He knows exactly what he's doing. It's times in the game like that I've seen that us fall apart and come unstuck, and you know that ends up in the back of the net. You know, we're 1-0 down, but it didn't. We got the points, and we're where we need to be. You know, West Ham, I would like to. That's a fixture next week that I favour. Their form, how they're playing, and I'm looking forward to that. It's, I think, against the Nottingham Forests away, potentially Chelsea can be an interesting proposition coming up at home, and not to look too far ahead. And the Manchester United game away, that's always a trouble. And we've got Everton away as well. You know, these are games that could give us trouble. We just need to take it one game at a time and try and keep the injuries down and move forward from there.